You might think history is just old stories, dusty dates, and names you had to memorize in school, but it's actually the ultimate how we got here guide. A living map that explains why the world looks and works the way it does today. Every part of your life, the phone in your hand, the language you speak, even weekends exist because of a long chain of events, choices, and discoveries made by people who lived centuries before you. Understanding history is like having cheat codes for reality. It gives you insight into why things are the way they are, and how you can shape what comes next. Why are some countries rich while others struggle? Why do some cities boom and others fade away? Why do we have certain laws, customs, and traditions that seem so normal now, but were radical ideas in the past? The answers are buried in the past, waiting to be uncovered by curious minds and careful hands. Looking back reveals patterns, progress, and world-altering leaps, moments when everything changed and humanity took a new direction. For most of human history, life was a non-stop survival challenge. No s'mores, just existential dread, hunger, and the constant threat of the unknown. Early humans were hunter-gatherers, chasing animals and searching for edible plants, always on the move, adapting to harsh environments. Their big breakthroughs? Sharpening rocks for tools. Think of it as the first iPhone, a game changer that made survival just a little bit easier. Then came fire, not just warmth, but cooked food, protection from predators, and a social hub where stories and knowledge could be shared. Fire helped our brains grow, let us gather safely at night, and sparked the beginnings of community and culture. It was the spark, pun intended, that set us apart from every other animal, lighting the path to everything that makes us human. The discovery of fire paved the way for everything that followed: tools, art, language, and eventually civilization itself. So, history isn't just about the past. It's the backstory to your life, connecting you to your great-great-great-grandparents and the world they built for you. For thousands of years, humans wandered vast landscapes, living as nomads and following the rhythms of nature. Our lives revolved around the hunt, tracking herds across open plains and adapting to the changing seasons. Every day was a quest for survival, and our existence depended on the wild world around us. Then about 10,000 years ago, everything changed. People discovered they could plant seeds and grow their own food. This was the dawn of the agricultural revolution, a turning point that would reshape humanity forever. Instead of chasing after food, we learned to nurture it. We became shapers of nature, not just consumers, carefully tending crops and transforming wild landscapes into fields and gardens. Farming meant food surpluses, and for the first time, not everyone had to spend their days searching for their next meal. People could store grain, plan for the future, and dream beyond mere survival. Specialization began. Potters, builders, leaders, and artists emerged. This new way of life laid the foundation for complex societies, where people could focus on skills beyond farming. No agriculture, no cities, no governments, no internet. The roots of our modern world trace back to these first fields and villages. With reliable food, people settled down, building villages that grew into bustling cities. Communities expanded and the seeds of civilization were sown. Living together brought new challenges: rules, resource management, and property disputes. People had to learn to cooperate, negotiate, and sometimes compete. But farming wasn't all progress. Diets narrowed, work hours increased, and diseases spread in crowded settlements. The comforts of stability came with new risks. Property led to inequality and conflict. Some gained more than others, and disputes over land and resources became part of life. Was it a mistake? Maybe for some, but it was a trade-off: freedom for stability, uncertainty for the promise of a future. The agricultural revolution was messy and complicated, filled with both triumph and hardship. But it set us on an irreversible path, shaping the destiny of our species. It's the root of the world we know today. Our cities, our technology, our way of life, all began with that first planted seed. Our ancestors traded wandering for building. That single choice changed everything, setting humanity on a journey that continues to this day. Cities made life complicated fast. Thousands of people living together needed order. So, we invented writing. Writing let us track taxes, record laws, and store knowledge. It was the original information technology, connecting people across time and space. With writing came monumental architecture: pyramids, ziggurats, the Great Wall. These buildings showed off power and required advanced engineering. Ancient civilizations also pioneered math, science, and medicine. They built the intellectual foundations of our world. The first cities were the blueprints for human society. As cities flourished and populations swelled, a new era dawned, the Age of Empires. These were vast, sprawling realms, often stretching across continents, and they were held together by powerful rulers, disciplined armies, and intricate bureaucracies. The rise of empires marked a turning point in human history, as people from different backgrounds and cultures were brought under a single rule, sometimes peacefully, sometimes by force. Empires like Persia, Rome, and Maurya were the mega-corporations of their day, commanding resources, people, and knowledge on a scale never seen before. Their leaders were the ultimate big bosses, shaping the destinies of millions. The Romans in particular became famous for their roads, over 50,000 miles of stone-paved highways that stitched their empire together. These roads weren't just for soldiers, they carried traders, messengers, and travelers, making the world feel both larger and more connected. These networks fueled a shared culture and booming economy, allowing goods, religions, and new ideas to flow freely between distant lands. Markets buzzed with activity, and people encountered beliefs and inventions from faraway places. Empires mixed cultures, sometimes through conquest and violence, but also through trade, migration, and curiosity. This blending sparked creativity, leading to new art, architecture, and ways of thinking. Yet no empire lasted forever. Some grew too large to manage, others fell to invaders, and many simply crumbled under their own weight. The cycle of rise and fall was inevitable. The fall of Rome, for example, plunged Europe into centuries of chaos and uncertainty. But even as empires vanished, their legacies endured. Roman law, engineering marvels, and the Latin language continued to shape the world. Empires remind us that no power lasts forever, but their impact echoes for centuries, shaping cultures, borders, and ideas long after their stones have crumbled. The world got bigger and smaller at the same time. Vast empires expanded horizons, yet roads and trade routes brought distant peoples closer together. Trade, travel, and the exchange of ideas connected distant civilizations, laying the groundwork for the interconnected world we know today. The blueprint for globalization was set in these ancient times as goods and knowledge crossed borders and oceans. Empires shaped the world in ways that still matter, even after their names faded from maps and their cities fell to ruin. Their rise and fall is a lesson in change, a reminder that history is always moving and that every age leaves its mark on the world. After Rome fell, Europe became a patchwork of small kingdoms. Welcome to the Middle Ages. Feudalism emerged. Lords granted land to vassals for loyalty and military service, while peasants worked the land for protection. Life was tough and rural. Your status was set at birth. Castles and knights symbolized this era. Castles for defense, knights for war. The Catholic Church unified Europe, wielding huge political and economic power. Monasteries preserved ancient knowledge, keeping learning alive. The Middle Ages weren't just a dark age. New farming techniques and universities emerged. This period laid the groundwork for the changes to come. In the 14th century, the Renaissance began in Italy, a rebirth of art, science, and humanism. Artists like Leonardo and Michelangelo created masterpieces, studying anatomy and perspective. Humanism celebrated human potential and creativity, not just the divine. The printing press revolutionized knowledge, spreading ideas fast and boosting literacy. The Renaissance spirit fueled exploration. Columbus, da Gama, and Magellan connected the world. The Columbian Exchange transformed societies for better and worse. Europe's curiosity and innovation set the stage for the modern world. The Renaissance wasn't just about art, it was about changing how we see ourselves. It sparked a global transformation, and its effects are still with us. The Industrial Revolution, starting in Britain, changed how we made everything. The steam engine powered factories, freeing us from muscle and nature. Cities exploded as people moved for factory work. Opportunity and hardship grew side by side. New social classes emerged, sparking political ideas like socialism and demands for reform. The 20th century brought even faster change: world wars, antibiotics, civil rights, and decolonization. The digital revolution shrank computers to pocket size, launching the information age. Now, instant global communication and access to knowledge shape our lives. The past isn't distant, it's the code running in the background of your world. Ancient laws, trade routes, and philosophies still influence us. History isn't over, we're living it. Every day we write a new chapter in the human story. The journey from fire to smartphones is ongoing. and you're part of what comes next.